to Homegrown Gigglers. Give it up for Shaw TV in the house tonight.
Yes, we got a great lineup of amazing comedians on the show tonight, and they are all local. But before we introduce them to the show tonight, let's give a round of applause to our host for the evening, Whiskey Creek Pub, for having us in here. Thank you very much. That's great, that's great, that's great. You guys, my name's Stephanie Foley. I will be your host tonight. How are you guys doing? You're doing good. You know what I did this weekend? I volunteered at my daughter's preschool. Yes, thank you. And I learned a very valuable lesson by volunteering. Kids, no matter how old they get, they make it their mission to humiliate you. It's the main thing I'm learning about parenting now. I take my daughter on I volunteered at her preschool to do a field trip. We went to the Esplanade. All right, you guys know where we're at? Yeah. They had a great, great presentation for all the preschool kids. They took us all back through the museum and showed us, you know, all the teepees and how Medicine Hat became, like, one of the first houses that were here. It was an amazing presentation, and they get all the kids to sit in this big little, circle, and they talked about quilting. And it was actually a very interesting conversation that they had with these kids. They brought out these like little squares of material that, you know, the old settlers used to, like, they were so fine. It was wonderful for me. I found it very interesting myself to feel all these beautiful pieces of cloth, like, and how they made them and everything. And they give it to the kids and they pass it all around, you know, and you feel it and you give it to the next kid and you feel it and you give it to the next kid. And the next kid's my daughter, who takes it and goes, she blew her nose on it, you guys. I'm like, no. Yeah, you're going to air this. So I took it because I panicked, right? And I put it in my back pocket and went, shh. So, shh. Don't tell anybody. But wait till the teens. Well, you know what? It got me thinking. She's been like this since day one, right? I'll never forget the first time I realized that it is a kid's mission to just humiliate their parents. It was like, my daughter was maybe about 10 months old, okay, 10, 11 months old, somewhere in there. And my husband and I used to take her swimming every Sunday at the Family Leisure Center, right? So, like I said, 10, 11 months old. And for those of you who know, have ever been to my show before, you know my husband's like 6'3", 280 pounds. He's a big dude. I didn't give birth naturally. Like, it just wasn't going to happen, right? So I actually had a C-section with my daughter. So you picture me with a big belly out. I couldn't touch my belly button. Like, that's how big I got with my daughter. I had a C-section 11 months later. That's not fixed yet. You know what I mean? Like, things still look a little rough. So when we took her to the leisure center to go swimming, I was still a little shy. I wasn't the type to just go and just get dressed in the middle of the change. I always used the stall, right? So I bring my daughter into the stall. I put a little towel down on the floor. I get her in her little, you know, swimsuit, and I sit her on the floor, and I swear to God, she dive bombed under the stall. I went into the next one, and that's all I just went into a state of panic. I was like, no. And because there was somebody in there, and that's all I saw was my little girl going, hi, hi, hi. And I'm like, no, Peyton, you get back here right now. I start yelling at her, right? She took this as, oh, Mommy wants to play a game of chase, right? And to which she dive bombed under the next one, and then the next one, and I'm like, oh my God. So instinctually, I'm a new mom, right? I just bolted out of the stall and went after her. So I don't know if you're picturing that, but if I could help, maybe, and I'll word this very carefully. Just imagine Rosie O'Donnell and a seal. Had a baby. 33 years later, that baby's on her hands and knees crawling through the leisure center, going after her baby, just dive bombing under. Hi! That might not be so much as a joke as a public apology to anybody who was in the change room that night. I'm very sorry, and yes, that was me. I don't know if you recognize me from my famous TV show on Shaw or not, but okay. All right, you guys, we're going to kick this show off. We have an amazing comic coming up next. He's so amazing because he gave me his T-shirt. He's famous. I'm wearing his T-shirt, you guys. He's actually currently living in Red Deer, but he started right here in Medicine Hat, so we claim him as our own. He is part of our Mad Hatter family. Please welcome to the stage, Niek Theelen.
As many of you may have known, I was in a movie recently, right here in Medicine Hat. Me and my dog, Tipsy, but they took our scenes out of the movie. They didn't really give us a leg to stand on. You might wonder, what am I doing with all these cards? You'll find out. If I was a superhero, I'd be Cream of Broccoli Man, serving up one hot bowl of justice at a time. Kids would love me. Boom! I'm addicted to candy. I'm trying to quit using a Sour Patch. Boom! I called my masseuse today. She called me, but I wasn't there. I know that because she left a massage after the beep. I bought a country CD full of old country classics, but it was scratched. I'm glad I got my Johnny Cash back. Old MacDonald had a farm. The key word being had. He lost it because he lost all his farm subsidy, and now he doesn't have a farm anymore. E-I-E-I-O. I recently lost a game of Jenga. The odds weren't stacked in my favor. If you guys are planning to go outside before the show, just a warning about the weather. It's kind of brisk outside, looks kind of nesty, so I recommend you bring a glass and a small umbrella. My friend recently told me he's a sheep farmer. I don't believe his story. I think he's trying to pull the wool over my eyes. You guys might not believe me, but I go to the gym a lot. This is kind of my going to the gym. I lift spirits. My friend recently told me I should quit telling puns because words hurt. I said, what if I punch you in the face? I was going to tell you a joke about corn, but I don't want to get it stuck in your teeth. I recently went fishing. Now I'm hooked. Tom Jones called me recently, and I said, what's new? He said, I don't like pussycats, I prefer dogs. What's new, pussycat? When you assemble Swedish furniture, it takes patience. That's the IKEA. When llamas are pregnant, do they practice Lamaze breathing? A lot of people in Red Deer know me as the Ghostbusters of cheese. One of my friends called me up recently. He said, man, I have this mouse. He entered my house without Parmesan, and I'm really worried that he might Monterey Jack all my stuff. I said, man, you just got to leave it Asiago. Leave it provolone. I'll take care of it. I said, that my guess is that mouse is pretty blue because it just lost its baby bell. Now it gets to your house, finds out it's about to get smoked. I camembert this, man. I expected much better from you. Cheddar, you know what I mean? Much cheddar. I told my friend that joke. He said, oh, that's kind of cheesy. I apologize for that joke. It's kind of, as I said, it's cheesy. I'm just working on my craft. I recently took out a $5 loan to buy some bread. Now Canada Revenue is after me. I'm toast. I met a Zamboni driver recently. He told me he got fired. I talked to his boss. He said he was already on thin ice. Harry Styles has trouble driving. I found that out recently. But he says he'll still do it, but only with a GPS, and he takes it one direction at a time. I used to think that all cars were robots in disguise, but now I've transformed my way of thinking. My friends tell me I have pencil-thin legs. That's why I only ride a stationary bike. You can clap for that. It's all right. My parents still love me, I think. I hope. I'm their third favorite child, and they have 3 children, so we're good. Well, good start. A motivational locksmith once told me, if one door closes, call me and I'll open another one. I don't do a lot of street jokes. They're kind of rough. I recently wrote a joke about metamorphic rock. It's a series of unused punchlines, and it usually changes over time. I wrote a joke about sedimentary rock. It has many layers, but it's pretty solid, and it usually rocks the house. I also have a joke about igneous rock. It flows pretty well, and the punchline is explosive. Okay, so you guys didn't go to school. I recently went to a flea market. I bought some red hot chili peppers. Gonna make some tasty tunes later. I went skydiving with cows. The stakes were pretty high, and I wasn't really in the mood. I applied for a job at a bank recently, and they asked me why I had Aretha Franklin as a reference. I said, I'm just looking for some RRSPECT. I have this neighbor, her name is Miss Vicky, and she tells me I'm just an old Dutch lazy guy. I disagree. I told her not to get her toasty toes all ruffled, because I'm no Cheeto. If you guys can't keep up with that joke, it's not just regular. I see some of your expressions. You're kind of sour cream and onion right now. You better keep up. It's not regular. If you can't keep up, you're about to get barbecued. Do you guys know if it's okay to eat a sub from Subway on the subway in New York? Just asking for a friend. I recently, the garbage man and I, we were talking, we kind of dissing each other. It was a lot of trash talk. I support people for the ethical treatment of animals. I eat pita bread like an animal. Boom. A friend of mine just got a job as a locomotive conductor. He's in training. He didn't choose the job. I recently wrote a pretty awesome joke about treadmills. I'm still trying to jog my memory. Okay, guys, what's the deal with airline pickles? My girlfriend got a job as in the delivery room. She's a nurse, so she works at Canada Post. One of my favorite comedy clubs is, I heard it's being turned into a pool room. I don't like that. My mom still won't let me swim in the deep end. Boom. I arrived early for this show. I figured it's better to be punctual. I still can't figure out why my eyeglasses don't have Siri-enabled capabilities. My iPhone does, but my eyeglasses don't. I recently graduated from culinary school. That's right. I passed a test. Every day I eat a tremendous amount of cake, but I do it standing on 2 legs. It's part of a balanced diet. I hurt myself recently. I fell, and to bring down the swelling, I used a can of frozen juice. It brought some Kool-Aid. Oh, yeah! When it comes to musical instruments or saxophones, I prefer baritone over alto. Does that make me a saxist? You guys know I can't read. I think we should keep daylight savings time and the time change. I don't know if you guys agree, but I prefer watching Flava Flav change his ridiculous necklace at least twice a year. Do you guys think his mom hates daylight savings time, or is that why he wears a watch? I don't know. Anyway. Boom. I don't like playgrounds that don't have steeply inclining slopes for children to play on. It bothers me, but I let it slide. I recently broke up with my Xbox, so now all I have is my PlayStation. I wish someone would just console me. When an Italian person has a birthday, is there confettacini? I don't like that joke either. My doctor told me I could do anything, so I'm training to become an NFL kicker. I'm not a radio DJ, but I know one. But he's not very good at playing. He's not very good at playing guitar, but he plays some awesome tunes. I'm sure Steve likes that one. My doctor told me he made fun of my cardiac condition recently. Yeah, it was a pretty sick heartburn. Did you guys see that fight recently between the Lucky Charms guy and Samuel L. Jackson's grandpa? Yeah, it was pretty awesome. In the post-game interview, actually, one of the fighters said, post-game, in one of the interviews, the boxer, he said, when this guy gets in the circle, square thing, what he's saying is going to be a lot different. And I thought to myself, well, with all that money you're making, both of you can probably afford a teacher that will teach you basic geometry. Why did I end on that joke? I still don't know. Did I tell you guys I got pulled over on the way to this show? Yeah, I got the police. They pulled me over and they said, "Why are you going so fast?" I said, "Well, it took me about 20 minutes to put on a sweater this morning." So there's that. I guess that's why they call it getting pulled over. Let it sink in. Thank you guys very much. I'm Niek Theelen. I hope I don't slip on all these cards.
All right, you guys, we have your headliner coming up. You know what? He's just coming about. You guys probably all know him. He's a local celebrity here on the morning show with John Cartwright on CJCY. Did I do it right?
No. You get a little better every time.
Last time I introduced him, I was like, from Rock 105. He hosts the morning show with Kim Johnson. Please welcome. Please welcome Steve Krysak. What radio station do you work for? CJCY. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Krysak!
Close enough, Stephanie. Thank you. Thank you very much. I went to Lethbridge this weekend for my dad's birthday. First of all, I know I look the part, but no, my father's not Jared the Subway guy. We won't even touch that one this evening. My dad just turned 60 on the weekend. My dad comes from this generation that calls flip-flops thongs. That just doesn't fly in this day and age. I'll tell you why. We were at the grocery store. I had just a speck of dirt on my flip-flop. My dad yells out, "Hey, what's that brown stuff all over your thong?" That was pretty awesome. I was born and raised in Lethbridge, and growing up, I always thought to myself, Medicine Hat is a weird, weird name for a place. Until I moved here and met a guy from Dildo, Newfoundland. All right, man, you take the cake. I've often heard people say, you know, you can get anywhere in Medicine Hat in less than 15 minutes. Obviously, these people have not tried to find an address in Ross Glen before. True story, I was going to buy a used car from a guy in Ross Glen last year. Just found my way out of there this afternoon in time for this show. That's how complicated it is in there. I kept asking this crazy elderly guy, how do I get out of here? He said, just follow the road that starts with Ross. What were they thinking when they came up with that area of the city? Thank you. Okay, so I work at CJCY, Stephanie. Anybody familiar with the John and Steve show? Yeah! One person, that pretty much reflects our ratings right there, thank you. Anybody familiar with the game we do in the morning called Secret Sound? Anybody heard of that? A few people in here? Yes, basically we play like a second-long clip of a sound in the morning. We give one person one guess, and if they don't get it right, we put 20 bucks in the jackpot. This game is ruining my life because people don't even say hi to me anymore. They just say, hey, what's the secret sound? Strangers come up to me on the street and say, what's the secret sound? Now, we just gave away a $5,300 jackpot back in June because some guy correctly guessed it was a light bulb. But later that day, a lady called in and she chewed me up. She was like, I've never heard a light bulb sound like that before. This game is rigged. You're incompetent, and I'll tell you what you can do with that light bulb. I said, first of all, Mom, you're not allowed to win this thing. Second of all, tell Dad I just told Medicine Hat he wears thongs. I have an incredibly bad streak when it comes to owning crappy vehicles. My last car, I was driving down College Avenue, rolling down the window, and the window fell into the door off its track. It wouldn't come back up. So I get on the phone with my mechanic. I'm explaining this window situation to him. Kept asking me why I couldn't get it up. Haven't used him since. I do love my wife, though, but she does things I don't understand. One of those is hair extensions. First of all, anybody who keeps a Ziploc bag full of hair under the bathroom sink just might be a psychopath, in my opinion. Just saying. But the first time I saw her use these hair extensions, they were all tangled up. She had to soak them in water, comb them out, left them to dry on the bathroom floor. She did not tell me that last part. I wake up in the middle of the night to go pee, open the door, and discover what appears to be a dead possum family on the bathroom floor. After I screamed like a little girl, I did complete my objective of peeing. However, those hair extensions had to be soaked in water once again. We do have a 3.5-year-old son at home. 3.5 years, no, don't even. You obviously do not have a child. He's 3.5 years old. I should tell you this, though. My wife got pregnant while she was on the pill. Now, the pill is supposed to be 99.9% effective, which leads me to believe those Lysol disinfecting wipes are also completely useless. My son has gone through a lot of phases in the last 3.5 years. His latest phase is he's throwing everything in the toilet. Hairbrushes, toothbrushes, mirrors have all gone in the toilet. And I shouldn't say he just started this phase because when I found out he was in the womb, he kind of flushed my hopes and dreams down the toilet. Coming up on 2 years of marriage, my wife and I, we got married in Las Vegas. Now, Vegas only gets rain like 5 times a year. One just happened to be on our wedding day. But before the ceremony, everybody said, don't worry, rain on your wedding day is good luck. I figured, great, I could use some good luck right now. But the bride showed up and I had to go through with the damn thing. We did have our son with us in Las Vegas. He was almost 2 at the time. And I felt really bad for my wife being stuck in Las Vegas with a toddler and a husband who likes to party a lot. Every afternoon at 1 o'clock, my son and I were both passed out on the bed with a bottle in our hand, and it was a 50-50 shot as to which one crapped their pants. Vegas, baby. 2 years of marriage, that came up quite quickly. However, I am proud to report that my wife still says I am spectacular in bed. Of course, after 2 years, all that means is I didn't snore or fart in the middle of the night. Not a lot of married folks in here this evening, then. That's kind of a big deal when it comes to marriage. Anybody catch the Canadian Armed Forces Skyhawks parachute team at the exhibition in Stampede?
Yes.
Just Steph? Because you've heard me say this joke before? You've never, okay, so basically it's the Canadian Armed Forces parachute team, and I got to do a media jump, so I jumped out of a plane with these people. And that's kind of a crazy thought, right? Jumping out of the back of a perfectly good airplane. But I did some research, and according to the United States Parachuting Association, there's about 3 million jumps every year and only about 20 deaths. So that's a 0.0007% chance of dying, which kind of sounds like the same chances of getting a girl pregnant while she's on the pill. But I tried it anyway. It was amazing. It was a great experience. But as we were getting onto the plane, I asked these Skyhawks, I'm like, is there any significance behind you guys wearing all these red jumpsuits? And he might have been messing with me, but he said, well, that's just in case we land and we injure ourselves, nobody will be able to see the blood. And I guess that does check out. But I asked, well, why am I wearing this brown jumpsuit? And he said, you'll find out soon enough. And I certainly did. Thank you very much, folks. You've been great this evening. I just want to reiterate one thing that a lot of people have said. Thank you, Steph Foley, for putting on Mad Hatter Comedy Club in this building. It's been a blast. It's been awesome. Thank you for pushing me and doing things I would probably otherwise not do, and we hope to see you all soon. Thank you.
Give it up for Steve Krysak in his first appearance on Homegrown Gigglers.
Give your guys a round of applause. You guys coming on out. Give Whiskey Creek Pub a round of applause for having us, not only for Homegrown Gigglers, but for the last 3 years. You guys here in the audience. Shaw TV for coming on out and supporting Medicine Hat's local comedy scene. Your comedians tonight on the show was a great show. Thank you so much. Drive safe and tip your wait staff.